Hello everyone, welcome back to Witchinary. If you have yet to subscribe to this channel, then please do so because we're getting crafty, and today I wanted to bring to you the secret stamp challenge between Dawn Marie of Dawn Marie's Crafty Corner and Jaimie Madison and I. For this stamp challenge, I was able to play with the Penny Black Pine and Poinsettia stamp set, and guys, I regret not actually recording what my reaction was to opening my package and seeing that Jaimie had chosen this stamp set for me, but it's probably for the best because I literally looked like the Joker. I was grinning from ear to ear. I was super happy. I don't know if it's just because the stamps that I'm gravitating towards lately is just changing or what, but I've been obsessed with Penny Black lately. They can literally do no wrong. So I don't know who's over there on their design team, but they better work it out because they're lit. I love it. Anyway, to start off with this card, I took out a piece of Strathmore watercolor paper and I inked up those beautiful poinsettias using some Simon Says Stamp Clear embossing ink, and then I go over everything with my Ranger Princess Gold embossing powder to melt all of those beautiful images and make them nice and gold. From my stash, I took out my Kuretake Gamsai watercolor inks and I go ahead and I color my poinsettias really nicely, and then while coloring these I decided that they weren't vibrant enough, so I go ahead and I just use my Prismacolor pencils to just fill in everything because I really wanted that gold to like really stand out. In case you guys are wondering what the secret stamp challenge is, essentially people who are crafty get together and they decide on a budget and a theme for stamps, and essentially they each pick like 3 to 5 stamps that they want to work with, and after everyone kind of picks what their 5 stamps are, everyone kind of like rotates, like I don't know, to the right or to the left. So I had to buy Dawn's stamp set, Dawn bought Jaimie's, Jaimie bought mine. Well, anyway, that person picks from the 5 that the other person had chosen, and they secretly send this stamp set to them. So when they get in the mail, the only requirement is that they do like a YouTube video or some sort of series with that stamp set, and it's really fun to watch. You don't always get the one that you want, but sometimes you do, and magic happens. From my stash, I go ahead and I take out 2 paper packs from my mind's eye, and this is the Marketplace paper pack, and I also take out the wood grain paper pack. Now guys, I am super silly. I don't know why I've been hoarding this My Mind's Eye paper for like 3 years. I really don't know, but I own like 3 of the same packs. I just really like them, so every time that I find them, I buy them. And as for the wood grain paper, I've probably held on to that the longest. It's probably the oldest paper pack I own. I just did not know there were other wood grain papers, so when I saw this one, I just kind of used it steadily. Now that I found the Motor Scrap paper, I feel like I can let go. So yeah, there's that. I go ahead and I try to trim down this beautiful gold foiled stripe paper, but I cut it weirdly. So then I had to go back into the Market Street paper pack and pick out this beautiful ombre red paper, and I adhere it down directly to my Nina Solar White cardstock. And after I was done doing that, I go ahead and I raise up my poinsettia paper up using some foam squares. Once I was done raising up my little panels with foam squares, I took out a piece of tonic gold pearl paper as well as the Believe Simon Says Stamp die. And yes, as you can tell, I'm just a hoarder. This is from one of the Simon Says Stamp packs that we got, and in my head I'm just never going to get this paper again, so I'm just hoarding it and only taking little bits. I run this through my die cut machine, my Big Shot, and I adhere my Believed right down onto that paper. Guys, I really like the way that this looks. It starts kind of looking like a Winter Wonderland sort of like storybook page or something. I don't know. I was just living for it. If it's one thing that I always gravitate towards in my stamps for the winter, it's definitely poinsettias and other things that remind me of like the woods and just natural scenery. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite parts of winter. I go ahead and I take the exact same poinsettia stamp that I'd been using and I stamp it down on the inside using some Memento Tuxedo Black ink. Also guys, in case you did not know, Ashley Tucker is having a mail call set, and if you're wondering who that is, I will link down below to her channel. And I've also included a picture of the envelope that I will be sending this card in. So you guys can kind of check that out, and if you're interested, please pause my video when I show you the envelope and go ahead and send her a card. The theme is Christmas. For my second card, I decided to go into a very different stash of mine, and that stash is my gift wrapping paper stash. I absolutely love to wrap gifts. It's kind of like my first paper craft love. So I had these little tags from Paper Source from last year, and I decided to take them out. I go ahead and I stamp down that beautiful mistletoe stamp, and after I'm done stamping it down and heat embossing it with some Princess Gold embossing powder, I kind of regret some of it immediately. I don't know. I don't know if I just really wanted everything to be super gold or if I wanted to make this one a little bit more natural, because as I mentioned before, I really like more natural scapes. So I decided to go ahead and take out a second tag and try out my second idea and kind of see which one I like better. And in my mind, if I hated one of them, then I can just edit the other one out and you guys would have never seen that I didn't like it. Unfortunately for me, I felt like this entire process I was competing between the two, like which one did I like better. So I ended up making twin cards from this, and I'm not mad that I did because I ended up with two gorgeous cards, but it definitely was a little bit of a race. I had my Prismacolor pencils out already, so I decided to use those anyway to do some no-line coloring, as well as filling in a little bit more of the gold things on the other side. Once I was done coloring the regular one, all I did was use the Simon Says Stamp embossing powder. Wow, I can't talk today, guys. I am exhausted. But anyway, after I was done using my Simon Says Stamp clear embossing ink, I go ahead and I fill in some of the gold traces on the other one just to fill it out a little bit more. I wanted to ground the gold a little bit more into reality, and even up until this point, I had no idea which one I liked better. From my stash, I go ahead and I take out a piece of rouge paper and I trim that down so I can have two strips. And guys, I don't know what it was, but last year when I got the My Monthly Hero Art Kit for October 2017, I absolutely hated it. I don't know what's wrong with me. So I never got to play with it. I never opened it. I think I just took the clear lacquer out of it and that was it. So when I saw it in my stash, I was like, let me just take this bad boy out and play with it a little bit. My God, I might have to bring it back out and play with it and actually show it to you guys because it's beautiful. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, I go ahead and I heat emboss It's Christmas Time from that My Monthly Hero Art set with some white puffy embossing powder. And then from my gift wrapping stash, I had this really pretty ribbon. I don't know where it came from. I think it was like Burlington Coat Factory or something. And I go ahead and I make two bows out of that ribbon. I then take the string that came with the gift tags and I just tie it around. I use my multimedia mat to actually adhere down my glue down to my tag, or not, so I use my glue to adhere my bow down to my tag. Yo, it's really been a long day. Anyway, yeah, and I just make sure to press that down to make sure it's glued on, and I really love the way that these came out. From my stash, I took out a piece of spruce paper from Paper Source, and I decided that I would go ahead and raise up my little tags on top of the spruce paper. I then go ahead and use this beautiful wood grain paper on top of my card panels, and I just cut off any of the excess from the spruce paper that I adhere down on top of that. I'm doing some layering, guys. And then I, of course, raise up my little tag here. I thought I did it before, but I didn't. Yeah, so once I was done with that, on one of the cards, I added this beautiful piece of Market Street paper, and on the other, I took that beautiful mistletoe stamp, and I just adhered it to the inside of the card. And that actually finished off these cards, and I'm not sure which one I like better, so I'm happy I made two of them. For my next card, I took out one of the scrap pieces of spruce paper that I already had on my desk, and I go ahead and I stamp down this beautiful pine and pine cone stamp, I guess, and I put it on two sides so that way whatever I would stamp down here would just kind of be in frame. I also took one of my card bases made out of Nina Solar White cardstock, and I take some of the scraps that I have lying around from that beautiful wood grain paper. There's no way that if I hoarded that for so long that I was just gonna like throw it away. So I decided to repurpose it and make it, you know, kind of come alive on this card. So I adhere down those little pieces of wood onto this card, and then I raise up my spruce paper using some foam squares. I take a piece of twine and my multimedia mat again, just to adhere my little bow. And yeah, guys, I know these cards are super intricate, but I just really wanted to, you know, give them some justice. I use the exact same rouge paper and my Princess Gold embossing powder to just stamp down the happy holidays sentiment, and I'm just gonna put this in the center of my cards to make this look a little bit more Christmassy or holiday-y. And I really love the way that this came out, with the exception of that little smudge that's in the corner, which I'm praying no one really sees. Yay. For my last card, I decided to take a full piece of that rouge paper and actually emboss directly on it, and I'm really happy I did, because I did not know that Princess Gold embossing powder could look so good on this paper. I took various stamps from the Penny Black stamp set, and I just go ahead and I heat emboss all of those images around it. I take the second part of that pearl tonic paper and I just die cut the Sentiment Winter from the Simon Says Stamp 4 Seasons die set, and I use my little quick glue ink pen to just go around that and actually adhere that down. And after I was done with that, I actually took out the actual 4 Seasons stamp set because I really wanted to put Hello Winter as my sentiment for this. I took out some Delicata ink for this, and I really hated the way that it looked, at least on the red. I tried to make it stand out a little bit more with a pen, but it just didn't work out. So I took some of that spruce paper and I go ahead and I just stamped down Hello using some Delicata Gold ink. It looked a lot better, so I just kind of left it alone and just raised up this itty bitty little panel, this baby panel, onto my card with some foam squares, and that wrapped up this card. Well, guys, thank you guys so much for putting up with my super tired narration of these cards. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys soon.